All right, hello YouTube, Muckluk here, and today we tried out Mesmer support on Chrono. I was playing the role of a lack, but one of the strong points of Chrono is you can do quickness or lack just by changing a single trait with the exact same gear and the exact same gameplay, which is awesome in my opinion. Not some people think that's lazy design. I think it's pretty good because we're just talking about providing a different buff. And just to show that I did get some practice in, I am going to turn on the extreme damage, which is the highest damage field. There's nothing else in the game that really... Oh, I forgot to precast my mantras. So this could, I could have been better prepared for this, but here we go. All right, so let's do as a continuum split, bam, 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 and throw down some wells. Continuum split basically just means that you can slam all the keys for a few keys, then we rewind. And then we do this, and I even should have started on Scepter Shield, but I didn't. So we are going to get all of that going here, and the might stacks are getting up there. They are taking a moment to get there, but they are getting there. And okay, and there we go. So we are... I could be doing a little bit better on the might. I swear I kept it up at 25 stacks. This doesn't usually happen, but yeah, you get the idea. I'm healing through an extreme field on a class that I've not played much before today. I am keeping most of the boons up. If I had started Scepter Shield, that might have been a bit better, because that gives 8 stacks of might at the beginning. But yeah, absolutely viable. I'm playing a class I'm not super familiar with. We're in an extreme damage field, and we kept myself alive easily. We did a bit of damage and kept most of the boons up. I should have started with Scepter Shield and then gone into Continuum Split for the opener. That would have made the might stay up much better. Alas, I made a mistake there, but I am new. I've been playing this for about 2 hours now. But let's talk about the class and my thoughts on it. So the focus for today was to try out the rifle, which seems to have been designed with support Chrono in mind. Now, support Chrono, for those that don't play it, you can provide alacrity or quickness, either one, to your group just by choosing this trait. So after I did a little bit of practice on it, I joined a group and I was like, hey, I could be the support, I could be heal quick or heal alac. I ended up being heal alac and, going through there and doing that. And we did we did the daily strike for EOD, the daily strike for End of Dragons, the daily strike for the Wizard's Tower, and then we did all the Icebird Saga strikes. And on the first one, I let alac slip a bit. On all the others, I kept alac up. All the other boons were totally fine. Alac was the one I had to watch the most because we got this awesome trait called Improved Alacrity that makes the alac wear off faster, but it's stronger. It's 50% alacrity up from 20%, which is what everybody else gets. So it's a perk of being a Chronomancer. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the gear stuff. This is the build we used, and also for the gear, I was using Harrier for all the strikes I did except the last one. Harrier is, of course, the glass cannon for healer stuff, but then when we got to the last one, and this was after Bone Skinner, we were at Cold War because it was the daily, I was like, my damage is crap. I'm doing like 2k DPS, maybe? I might as well swap to tankier gear so there's less risk of me dying. Because it was a few times, with Harriers, I was so fragile, if one thing would hit me, I'd like chunk down to like 30%. And it's like, I'd rather be a sturdier healer that's not gonna die rather than one that's doing a whopping 2k DPS, but I'm made of glass. So I swapped to Giver's gear, which has toughness instead of power, and I was using Rifle and Scepter Shield, and I was using Relic of Phoebe to keep swiftness up. So that's what we were doing. So we were keeping Regen, Fury, Might, maybe I was getting a few stacks from teammates, but when I played perfectly, we had 25 might. Alacrity, Prot, the swiftness from the Relic, Regen, if I didn't already say it. Now, in terms of like my opinions on the gameplay, as someone who has been a Scrapper main, a Mechanist main, a Scourge main, and a Druid main, how did I feel about this class? This was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. This was a lot of fun. So what do we have in here that is pretty awesome? Signet of Humility is one of the largest crowd control tools in the game in terms of like when you hit a break bar with it. So if I'm just gonna step in here and do Signet, see that? That's Signet of Humility, all right? Now, the Rifle 4 is also CC, there it is. And one, the Rifle 4 has a boot up time. It takes like a second or two before it spawns the clone and the clone fires the interrupting shot, but it's also like a third of the Signet of Humility. So one perk of this class, you get one of the strongest CCs in the game and you can easily keep it on your bar. Another perk, Mantra of Recovery I found to be fun. You could be like, you know, heal someone again, and then 10 seconds later it recharges. It has a longer cast time and you're like, heal the whole group, heal the whole group, heal the whole group. So 10-second cooldown, you could fire it 3 times, heals the whole group, cures conditions, gives you a illusion if you didn't already have one, which helps with keeping the illusions up. Now, I'm sure there's other healer builds out there. Snowcrows has some as well. I didn't try that one. I ended up just trying this one. They changed, on the topic of clone upkeep, they changed Rifle 2 Journey, I believe, since they had the early access thing where we could try it before the launch. And now Rifle 2 will spawn a clone. And if you've got the improved alacrity, it's like less than a 3-second cooldown. You can keep doing this. And then combined with the heal skill, that also spawns clones. So after the opener on Scepter Shield, it was very easy to just stay Rifle the rest of the time unless I needed to go back to Shield for block or to top off a boon. If I was going to be tanking a fight, the Scepter Shield would get a lot more action because the Scepter Shield would have access to the Scepter block and also the Shield block, but we had access to lots of healing, lots of boons, a bit of barrier from this. Although there is CC on the 4, it took so long to fire, it would often fire after the break bar was already handled. Like, I do Signet of the Moa because it hits like a truck on CC bars. Then I do Phantasmal Sharpshooter, and it was often too late. But Power Break. There's not a huge animation for this, so just watch my buff bar. If I hit Power Break, there's stability. 3 stability that last over 5 seconds for my whole party instantly. Felt amazing. All right. My Druid has 1 stability instantly to the party. Still great. The Warrior, who I just recently played, had a stability to the party with the banner, and it lasts like 10 seconds, but also there's like almost a 1-second cast time on the banner. So you got to be like, and here it is. So you cannot wait, like in some cases, if you're waiting until you see the guy doing the thing you need to have the stability for, it's too late because you don't have time to cast it. So having this be just instant, and it heals people, stability all around you was phenomenal. Another tool I really loved was Well of Precognition. It gives 2 seconds of stability, but it gives Aegis, Aegis, then Aegis again. So if the boss is about to do something really nasty, you could throw this down and it goes Aegis, Aegis, Aegis. 3 applications of Aegis in a row and just prevents all that damage. So, I have access to a stack of Aegis on my Druid with Stone Spirit, but this just doing 3 back to back to back makes it much more idiot-proof and a lot easier to make it work on what you want it to work on. The skill cap with Aegis is, of course, you use it and then a small hit eats the Aegis, then the big hit kills the player that had the Aegis on them. This makes it much easier to do, and also it heals them at the same time. So yeah, Mantra of Recovery, very fun. With traits, it also gave like, what was it? It cured conditions, and I think it did something else too. Sorry. Was it Prot? No, Prot's on the Shatters. It cured conditions at the very least. So it was a heal all around you and a condition cleanse around you that you could use 3 times per 10-second period. This was a very fun skill. However, anytime you're using it, your character is basically drawing these Etch-a-Sketch things in the air, which look really cool, but you're not shooting. So one weird con of playing this is your damage is lower than most supports. Now, if you're in a group play, that may not matter at all, but it's worth mentioning. For example, if I play Untamed support, I often do 5 to 7k DPS. Mechanist support can do 5 to 10 depending on the conditions. Ranger, maybe 4 to 5k depending on the pet that they have out. This was maybe like 1 to 2k, and that's when I was like, okay, why am I wearing glass cannon gear if I'm hitting I'm able to attack so rarely? I'm just going to change to tank gear, and then we don't have to worry about me making a mistake and dying, because if a good healer's alive, the whole party's alive, unless they fail to step left on Bone Skinner. And that brings me back to another point that I thought was worth mentioning. This was so fun. The kit has everything. It also has flexibility. You don't have to take these 2 or these 3. When I played the Warrior Healer, I felt like my utilities were locked in and I could not change them. With this one, I was like, whoa, I could change these depending on the fight. Like, I don't lose something that's really important by changing one of these utility traits. It felt really nice to be able to be like, oh yeah, it was like I was on my druid. I was like, oh man, I need feedback for this fight to block all the projectiles. Well, I can do that. I have the freedom to do that. I am not hurt in a major way by doing that. Oh, by the way, there's going to be people in the comments that are probably like, why weren't you using Well of Action? It's because, well, except for when I made mistakes, like when I did the demonstration earlier, we had Might capped on all the strengths we did, and we had Fury up the whole time, so Well of Action, we felt like it wasn't necessary, so I swapped it to Senility, which has this exact same cooldown, does the exact same healing, but it also does Defiance bar damage and Chill, and it removes boons on the enemy, which was sometimes useful. But maybe I should go back to Well of Action because I let Might slip during my example, but I have 2 hours on Mesmer, so there you go. So yeah, anything else? The kit itself, you know, you had the flexible stuff down here that you could change things on. Very good stability on demand, very good Aegis on demand, good consistent healing and condition cleansing. I kept a group alive. Like I was healing myself through an extreme damage field there. I healed my group through Bone Skinner. The only people that died were ones that stood in puddles, and I couldn't do anything about that. Which, if I was on my druid or a necromancer, I could pull them out of the puddle. There's no tool like that on the Mesmer. You can't have everything. So the Mesmer doesn't have that. Massive CC on demand. You got a few other unique things, like, you know, if I need to, I can swap to Scepter Shield, and Scepter 2 is a block. Shield 4 is a block. Shield 5 is a block projectiles. However, because it moves around, I didn't like relying on it. Because, like, what would happen is, like, you know, we fought Dagda in Cosmic Observatory, and she would spin, and I would throw the Shield 5, and while it was on its way to her, it would be blocking the projectiles, but then it would pass the group, and then she would hit the group, then it would come back, blocking projectiles for a second, and then pass the group again, and it would not be protecting them. So it was nice when I didn't already have feedback on my bar, but feedback would be way better for that. But yeah, I was shocked by how much fun I had with this. If I was playing with a group of newbies, this could not hard carry people that did not know what they were doing. If I go into Bone Skinner on my support Necro or my support Druid and people don't know what they're doing, I can keep peeling them off the floor and hurling them at Bone Skinner until he's dead. I might have 100 revives at the end, but it will die and they will learn. On this guy, if they fail to step left, they're dead, and there's nothing I felt like I could do about it. It's funny enough, the only ability I have that can pull a person from there to me requires them to be conscious. They can't. It doesn't work if they're down on the floor. But yeah, I was shocked by how much fun I had with this. I think they did a really good job with the clone generation increase on the rifle. That was the #1 complaint I had when I tried it during the beta. I would love to play this more in the future. I know, Muck playing a Mesmer, what? Not a PvP or anything, just in like PvE stuff. And it's really nice being able to join a group and be like, hey, what do you need? I can do either one. That was great. And also, the improved alacrity is just plain fun. 50% faster recharge on all your skills instead of 20%. Oh my god, you're being greedy with time. You're being greedy with time. But yeah, so that's it. That's my review as a professional support that doesn't play this support. My first thoughts after playing it for a few hours, how I feel about it. I'll probably play this more. I would say, since I just finished doing testing on Staff Heal Zerker and Staff Heal Bladesworn, let's talk about it compared to that real quick. The Staff felt a little better than the rifle. The Staff kit was just, oh my god, it was so good. Bullet Catcher, Line Breaker, so good. But it's attached to the Warrior. And I had so many problems with the Warrior part of it. This one, the weapon is good. Not phenomenal. It's good. And the class is great. Like, the heal build around it is great also. God dang. It was great also. Like, the Mantra of Concentration, so much better than Banner of Tactics. Are you freaking kidding me? Mantra of Recovery, so much better than the Shouts, in my opinion. Like, the Signet of Humility, having the Giga CC in your back pocket anytime, it was wonderful. But yeah, all right, that's it. I'm rambling. This has probably been a lot longer than the other review video. That's my thoughts on Gun Heal Chrono, quick or alack. And once again, that's the build I tried. There are other heal builds out there. I've already been linked multiple. This was the one I tested. It felt amazing. I saw some that were using, what was it, Well of Eternity, but I can't imagine not running Mantra of Recovery. This button made my brain make the happy juice. I loved pressing this button. I don't want to not press that button. So yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to try that one. Forget you. I don't have time for you. It's old relationship gone. New was it? Old best friend is no longer here. Power return and Mansion Recovery is my new best friend. There we go. All right. There we go. Muck discovered our warrior jank. Oh my god. Yeah, I did. But that's topic for another video. All right. So that's it. If you have any comments about this topic and you want to tell me like, oh, hey, you did it wrong. You should have done this trait or something. That's totally fair. I'm new to it. Throw it in the comments down below. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Did they do a good job with Gun Mesmer ever since the launch? Did they fix all the problems that you think they had with it? Stuff like that. I will read it. And yeah, off to the next test.